This is Packers Nation HQ, and today I want to break down what this cap space conversation really means for the Green Bay Packers, because this isn't just about numbers on a spreadsheet. It's about the direction of the franchise and the Jordan Love era. And before we get deep into it, make sure you subscribe to Packers Nation HQ, drop a like, and leave a comment down below, because this community is built on Packers fans who actually care about the future of Green Bay, and your support keeps these deep dives coming all offseason long. Now, let's set the table properly. The Packers are entering 2026 in a position that's, honestly, more complicated than most fans want to admit, but also far more manageable than it was during the final years of Aaron Rodgers. Green Bay currently has 66 players under contract, and they're sitting about $1.4 million over the projected $303.5 million salary cap. So technically, yes, they're over. But from my perspective, that's not panic territory. That's Tuesday in the modern NFL. What makes this story fascinating is the bigger question behind it. How aggressive are the Packers willing to be right now? Because for decades, Green Bay's identity wasn't just about the Frozen Tundra of Lambeau Field or the Lambeau Leap. It was about discipline. It was about structure. This is a community-owned franchise, the one that doesn't operate like a reckless billionaire toy chest. The Packers have always tried to build sustainably, chasing Lombardi time without mortgaging tomorrow. And yet, the NFL doesn't wait for anyone, not even a 13-time world championship legacy. So when we hear that Green Bay could free up more than $90 million in cap space without cutting anyone, that should stop you in your tracks. Because that kind of flexibility changes everything. The article lays out the math. If the Packers went full throttle and restructured basically every veteran deal possible, adding void years and pushing money into the future, they could create up to $93.5 million in cap space. That's enormous. We're talking about restructures like Elgton Jenkins saving $14.1 million, Rashawn Gary saving $13.9 million, Aaron Banks saving $13.1 million, Xavier McKinney saving $9.5 million, Devontae Wyatt saving $9.3 million, Jordan Love saving $7.7 million, Josh Jacobs saving $7.6 million, and it keeps going. On paper, that's the kind of cap maneuvering that turns a tight offseason into a Super Bowl shopping spree. But here's the truth that doesn't get talked about enough. That money doesn't disappear. It's a credit card swipe, and Green Bay historically does not live on credit. Now, I want to be clear, the Packers have done this before. During the twilight years of Rodgers, they kicked the can when they had to, trying to squeeze out one more run. But that was an aging Hall of Famer window. This is different. This is a Jordan Love window. And that's where the urgency starts to creep in. Because what I see when I watch this Packers team is a roster that's close. Not perfect, but close. Jordan Love is no longer the guy after Rodgers. He's just the guy. In 2025, Love took another step forward, improving his red zone command, cutting down turnover-worthy throws, and looking more comfortable in Matt LaFleur's timing-based system. His completion percentage under pressure climbed from 52% in 2024 to around 58% in 2025. And that matters because playoff football lives in chaos. Love is starting to look like a quarterback who belongs in January. And if you have that, you start thinking differently about the cap. Josh Jacobs is another huge piece here. From my perspective, Jacobs gives Green Bay something they haven't had consistently since the peak Aaron Jones years. A back who can grind you down in December. His impact isn't just rushing yards. It's identity. When the Packers run wide zone concept with Jacobs, the entire offense changes shape. Linebackers hesitate. Safeties creep. Play action becomes lethal. That's LaFleur's illusion of complexity at its best. Everything looks the same until it isn't. And then there's Jaden Reed. I don't think the national media fully understands how versatile Reed is becoming. He's not just a slot receiver. He's motion. He's misdirection. He's a guy LaFleur uses like a chess piece, and his yards after catch production has jumped season over season. In 2025, Reed averaged nearly 6.2 yards after the catch per reception. That's elite territory. So you look at Love, Jacobs, Reed, and suddenly, the Packers aren't rebuilding. They're building to strike, which brings us back to the cap. Because the NFC North is not waiting. The Bears will always be the Bears. The rivalry is eternal, dating back to the earliest heartbeat of this league. Every Packers era is defined by Chicago in some way. From Bart Starr to Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, Detroit is no longer a joke. They're a real contender now, and the division is turning into a weekly knife fight. An anonymous NFC North scout was quoted as telling someone close to the league, "Green Bay's roster is younger than people realize, but the window is opening faster than expected. They got to decide if they want to swing now." That's the key word, swing, because freeing up $90 million doesn't mean you do it. It means you can, and that optionality is power. A Packers shareholder since the 1960s reportedly put it in the most Green Bay way possible. "I've seen this team win with patience, but I've also seen moments where you've got to step on the gas." Lombardi didn't wait around. And that hits hard, because Lombardi time wasn't cautious. It was ruthless. Now, structurally, here's what restructures really do. You convert base salary into signing bonus, spread it over future years, and lower the current cap hit. That's how teams like the Eagles stay aggressive every year. Hall of Fame analyst Pat McPherson explained it like this: "The cap is real, but it's also elastic. The best front offices know when to borrow from tomorrow, because tomorrow's cap will be bigger." And that's true. The cap keeps rising. $1 today is a larger percentage of the cap than $1 in 2028. So from a resource standpoint, it makes sense. But the Packers have always feared becoming the Saints. Trapped, bloated, constantly restructuring just to survive. So the real debate is philosophical. Do the Packers stay conservative? Or do they ramp up urgency? Because in my opinion, the Jordan Love era is at the exact point where you start making championship decisions. Not reckless ones, but intentional ones. If Green Bay can restructure a handful of deals, Jenkins, Gary McKinney, and create even $30 to $40 million in space, that could mean one major addition: a pass rusher, a veteran corner, a game-changing receiver. And suddenly, the Frozen Tundra becomes a real Super Bowl runway again. That's what this is about. Not accounting. Legacy. Because every era in Green Bay eventually asks the same question: are you going to maximize the moment? Bart Starr had Lombardi. Favre had Holmgren. Rodgers had McCarthy and LaFleur. Now Jordan Love has LaFleur, Jacobs, Reed, a young defense, and a front office with choices. And Packers fans know, windows don't stay open forever. So as we look toward 2026, the cap space isn't just a number. It's a signal. Green Bay can stay the patient, disciplined model franchise, or it can take a page from the modern NFL and push chips forward. And the scariest part for the rest of the NFC North, the Packers might be ready to do it. Because Lombardi time isn't about comfort. It's about finishing.